सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु. I need not to repeat the meaning, you already know the meaning. May there be happiness for all. Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu. May there be peace for all. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness for all. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. There are so many things to be understood, and one of them is the word invocation. Mangalacharan, we say it is an invocation. How do you understand the invocation in a simple language? So you can define invocation or invoking as recognizing what is already present. And now reflect on it. May there be happiness for all. So you are not chasing happiness, you are recognizing happiness, peace, wholeness, auspiciousness. That is the meaning of Mangalachara. Now the next question, do you recognize 24/7? No. Continue. Until the time comes when you start recognizing and you start expressing that recognition, that cognition, that cognitive change in you to the members of your family, to your people in the personal, professional, social life. Until then, you cannot leave the journey. You can open the eye. Did you understand? So otherwise, we are what we are doing. We are intellectually doing, and we are not. It is not going deeper. From today, Krishna, whenever you meet your mom, may there be happiness for you. Recognize the happiness in you and your mom. So it is a recognition. You attend the session and I say, oh, here is Dennis, here is Christina, here is Stephen, here is Sangeeta, here is Jerry and David. Recognition. Are you understanding? Recognition. You have to reflect on it again and again. I recognize. So before you recognize your mom, you recognize happiness. David, before you recognize. Otherwise, we will continue chanting, reciting, eyes closed, and nothing is going to happen. Now we are a seeker, we have to take a proactive step. So when you are repeating, you are breaking the repetition of old delusory thoughts. One way of doing the Mangalacharan, oh, the guy has come, mind says he is crazy, Sarvesham Swastir. It will not work. It is a problem with your mind. Are you understanding? It is the problem of your mind. So gradually what happens, the Mangalacharan loosen your sense of doership and personal problem ownership. You drop it. That is one of the great messages, teaching, education of Mangalacharan. So last week what we have been doing, I told you We discussed about 600 hours of training. I gave you an example. We have not done 5 years or 6 years. It's less than 600 hours. Let us calculate. One goal of commitment, sincerity, is to allow the mind to remain focused inside. In the last two sessions, we had an incidental diversion. It can only happen when we start with a belief, it moves to faith, and it becomes a trust. So that recognition of the happiness is a trust. So now you are chanting or reciting the Mangalacharan mantra with a belief or faith or trust. Tell me, what is your take? So that will tell you the progress, what we have been doing. Did you? I hope that you have understood. Now, with that understanding, understand awakening is not a future event, but a recognition of awareness already present. We are going deeper. If you are understanding it, it is not something mystical and you start dancing and you start blessing people. No. Are you getting it? We are understanding belief, faith, and trust. Imagine a traveler who reads a map, believes the destination exists, but only truly knows the way after walking the path and seeing the city with your own eyes. In the same way, belief is the map. Are you stationed at belief only? Did it convert into the faith is the journey? Are you undertaking a journey? When? All the time. Trust is the arrival. Arrival. Did you get it? When you know your true nature as peace and happiness is not just a theory but yet lived reality. Belief is the starting point. Faith grows as repeated reflection and direct experience confirm the teaching. Trust is the firm, spontaneous conviction that I am peace and happiness. I took the incidental diversion because of to explain you clearly this belief, faith, and the trust. Belief is the seed, faith is the growing plant, and trust is the fruit. So, what happens when the trust is the fruit? May there be happiness for all. Now it is a fruit. You are talking to a difficult client. Will you be able to maintain the peace and happiness? For example, are you talking to a difficult honey partner? You don't have to force the trust. It comes from testing the teaching in your own experience. With that, the fifth treasure is supported by Sama, Dhamma, Uparama, and Titiksha. Sometimes you have to endure, you have to be resilient. Come on, what the mom said or dad said, what? It's okay. What is the way? Start with a belief, but keep questioning. Are you questioning others? No. Question yourself, reflect on your experience. Does peace arise when you let go of identity with the mind? It will help you to dissolve your ego also. Contemplate daily. Am I not already the peace I seek? When you wake up in the morning, just a moment of reflection. When faced with a challenge, instead of reacting, you pause. You ask, who is aware of this? That is the trust is not blind. I've been saying it again and again. It is the fruit of seeing clearly. Trust is not blind, it is the fruit of a right perception. What is one meaning of right perception in Buddhism? It is known as vipassana. Vipassana means to see clearly, rightly. So I see clearly and rightly the peace and happiness. But journey is awakening and self-knowledge. If your nature is peace, why wait for tomorrow to live as if you already know? We also discussed last time, you have to, now that things becomes clear because of the incidental diversion I took in the last two sessions. Your mind is not able to find the peace and happiness. It is because of the scattered identification. Your mind is attached somewhere. It may be because of ego, so I have to bring the mind back. I have to drop the ego in my thought process. Are you getting it? Say yes. Impurity is scattered identification. I gave an example. Imagine a mirror covered with water droplets. I gave you that example. Each droplet reflects a different scene. My mind is scattered at different places. A tree, a face, a shadow, but the mirror itself remains clear and unchanged. In the same way, our mind is like the mirror, and every identification with the body, pain, past, worries, or the rules is a droplet that fragments your reflection. That fragmentation of reflection is the impurity. Purification means removing the droplets, not the mirror. Impurity is not about bad thoughts, but about a mind scattered across many identifications. Because of ego, because of attachment, because of delusion. When there is no fragmentation, then what happens? I always check my internet connection. I did couple of mistakes couple of years back, many years back. I forgot that. I check my internet connection, I check my computer, I check my voice before I start the session. When you identify with the body, pain, past, rules, only a small part of your attention is free to find whether peace and happiness is your essential nature or not. Are you getting it? The mirror metaphor shows the mind's true nature is clarity. Thought is coming to my mind. Did Buddha show the mystical powers and magical powers, or he always remained peaceful, calm? Did you see his image? Is he not enlightened? Unless I have to show some, make fun of the people, make fun of myself, then only the awakened state will come. Contemplate, reflect. A teacher, the true identity, purity, is not a moral perfection but a focused presence. It's a natural state, gathering of the scattered identity into a still awareness. That is what we need to have a tremendous faith in our life. I explained that in terms of the faith. So your faith is tested in every event, in every relationship. You are in stress. Examination of the fifth treasure. You are so even after 5 years, you are still entering into a conflict, duality, reaction, and it disturbs your whole day. You have not done anything. But then I will leave it. Choice is yours. Awakening is not about having a fewer thoughts. If I have a fewer thoughts, I cannot explain the concept clearly. Then I will say, just be, have a trust, and then I will close my eyes, and you will say, oh, this crazy guy. It doesn't explain everything. Awakening is not about having a fewer thoughts, but about a qualitatively different relationship with them. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations are to be seen as objects appearing in awareness. You are at a higher stage, not as me, with progress measured by how quickly identification drops, not by how quiet the mind is. Don't you see that every time I explain the same concept differently? Past is gone, finished. It may have some kind of repetition, but ultimately it is gone. Then the real self, then the real self is unseen awareness, unseen by the senses, unseen by the mind, because that awareness is behind the mind, behind the senses. The real self is pure consciousness, not seen by the senses or mind, but directly known as the knower. Knower. And that knower is aware of the changing phenomena of the body, mood, rules, thought, feeling are not you. They are seen by you. That consciousness remains constant through waking, dream, and deep sleep. I gave you the movie screen metaphor. You can recall that. Notice the constant presence of consciousness in waking, dream, deep sleep. While listening, I am speaking, you are hearing. While sitting, yeah, behind that there is always a consciousness who is aware of this thought, feeling, emotion, sitting, everything. That is what the knower is. It is unseen by the senses and the mind, but it is still very much present here and now. You can have a direct experience, I can have a direct experience. How? You are not the movie, you are the screen. And if consciousness is always present, why to identify with what changes? Why to identify with a particular thought? Say I said something and you say I don't agree. So what I will say? I will also say I don't agree what I said. Drop it. Why should I identify? I want freedom. Even $1 billion cannot give you that freedom. That is trust. We reach to that trust. Because of the trust, I have been continuing for the last 46 years now. But that trust is a lived trust. That trust is a lived trust. I'm covering the fifth treasure totally in a different way. So we have to follow a structured path. That is what we are following, which is also called the Satsang, to enter into the unstructured pure consciousness, which is my nature. I have to follow the structured path as long as I have to reach there. Moment you reach there, leave it there. It is totally unstructured. So when it is unstructured, the one master says there is nothing but pure consciousness. Second master says that you have to follow this path, what we are following. Third master says what we are doing on Saturday's session. So they talk from their level. We are seekers, so we have to follow a structured path. We should not be carried away by many things present outside. First, I have to follow the structure. I have to commit to it. Then what happens? Then awakening is here and now, not a future event. I remember. We remember. Imagine a lamp that is always been on, but you only just noticed it. Awakening is not about creating a new light. It is about recognizing that light was always there, hidden by the veil of ignorance, suffering, and delusion. The moment you have a cognition, you are there. Did Buddha start jumping here and there after enlightenment? He became more settled because he is abiding in peace, he is abiding in happiness. We have created a belief, blind belief around that state. Awakening is the recognition and stable abidance in pure, unchanging awareness. It is not a mystical superpower or supernatural event, but a shift in identity. One thing is very important. Awakening is irreversible. It is irreversible. And here and now. Not a future achievement. You sleep. That awareness, that consciousness is present there. You fall into sleep, okay. You wake up and then again it returns. In dream you are aware. It's a falsity. It can be easily falsified. You have a tiredness, you know it can be falsified. The process is supported by inquiry, meditation, satsang, discipline, re-education. This is what it is. We have to constantly work on this again and again and again and again. Yes, now is the time for you all to reflect on it. Yes, Christina, what is your take?
Thank you again so much. Still landing for me is the belief, faith, and trust that happiness is there no matter what. And it's just making me think about this conflict that I had mentioned with someone, and they said recently that our relationship is broken, and they are willing to meet with me, but to hear me out.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to have belief, faith, and trust to prepare for that type of
Tell him and her, from my side, relationship always exists. And that relationship is beyond the physical, emotional, intellectual, social level. Do you have that awareness? Yes, then we are already related. Where is the broken comes? delete the broken. We are already related. How are you then?
It has become clear in today's session what is the relationship between these three points: the belief, the faith, and the trust, and how the belief converts to faith, and how faith converts to trust through this journey. And I always compare Eastern wisdom with science. So if we compare this with scientific approach, I think it is similar when we have a theory, it is like a belief, and then we run a series of experiments to prove or disprove the theory. So these experiments are like faith, and if all experiments prove the theory in full and there are no doubts, then we now have a trust in that theory. And it is also clear to me that having a belief and developing faith is absolutely necessary on the path of Eastern wisdom, because we cannot jump directly to the trust without removing all the doubts and impurities of the mind. Otherwise, it would be just a blind belief, which will not help us.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Where is real self? How can you prove it? Prove it through the science. This is just you are talking nonsense. You don't want to treat the path. Christina, I think still she is there. So when you say to him or her that yes, there is no broken as such, I'm always related. The other guy may jump onto the blind faith. Leave him or her. Not required in your life. Oh, are you so strong? Yes, I'm very strong in that. Yes, Stephen, what is your take?
Thank you, sir. When you started this diversion, I've given a lot of contemplation, reflection in the belief, faith, trust, and a lot of thoughts came to mind. And I took our approach of always stepping back and trying to look at it from multiple angles, and I ended up really the Mangalam Charan has really stood out to me the most, because we when we first started talking about this, we talked about the fact that I believe I used the words that it sets the tone for the day, and then I realized that it's not just at the start of the day, it's all day. And I started in the last few days, I started using it in virtually every situation. Before I get on a call, before I'm getting together with family, before I'm getting together with friends, before I go out to the store.
Beautiful.
This way, it sets my tone for none of the distractions and so on and so forth. So, and then I started going and thinking about that that really is reflected to the belief, the faith, and the trust. And so as I continued down this path of believing in it, it was today that I realized that when you use the metaphor that with the mirror and the droplets of water and the mind, it became clear to me that belief, faith, and trust is actually the towel that wipes away all those droplets and makes it very clear. So thank you.
Beautifully said, beautifully. It aligns with Janice, what you said. Experimented. You experiment. I was talking to you, Christina. You experiment with him and her. There is no broken as such. Remove the broken. I'm already related to you. I have a trust in you. But the other guy says, hell with you. Thank you very much. If you don't say thank you very much, it means you are attached. You are still seeking something from him and her. You have to remain in peace and happiness. Try this. share your experience with us in a session. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. My experience, and sort of to Stephen's point too, is just using the mantra throughout the day and the evening is just really builds the belief, which builds the faith, which builds the trust, and it's like this auger wheel that's digging down to the gold or the treasure, and the treasure is our real self. And the more faith we have, the more trust we have, the more belief we have, and it just kind of keeps going onto itself to get to that real self. But just truly knowing that the real self, that treasure is there, and stepping back then and looking at all the raindrops or dirt or whatever that's on top of that treasure just needs to be ignored and focus on the real self. So thank you.
Beautiful. Ego comes, you fight with the Mangalacharan. What the hell you are talking about? I'm expressing the ego thought and it will cause me pain and the pain to the others. Let me drop it. Let me come to the peace and happiness. So yes, what you are saying and Stephen is saying all the time. Now one beautiful thing will happen, that when you are doing it all the time, it will happen naturally. So we have retrieved the natural state. Yes, Vaibhav, what you have to say?
Sir.
Oh, sorry, Jerry, yes, Jerry, sorry. I missed it.
Thank you. The Mangalacharan is I feel like sums it up so well for us, and does provide us that tool that we will strengthen our belief, and through that we see the essence in everyone, but we first have to know it in ourselves. Otherwise we will seek it in other people, and we'll seek it in going somewhere to change a mood or to get something, so once we see it in ourselves, then we start to see it in everyone else, and relationships do suddenly change. I think I read something about in the Bhagavad Gita, and a relationship can suddenly change, and when it does, it's okay. Like we have this happiness still, and this peace with it, that it's okay that it's changed. It's okay.
Yes.
We still have love for it. We still have this happiness. We still have this peace and sense of completeness, and it's okay to let something go.
Yes. Relationship from your side continues to remain the same because there is an inner change we felt inside. Now, if the other person, how he or she behaves and thinks and acts, it depends on him and her, not on me. I'm always in that state of the peace and happiness, love and the wisdom. And in the beginning, I said it is the recognition, invoking, the word invoking. I translate into that definition is recognizing what is already present in me. So you move along with that path of the peace and happiness. Christina, don't get carried away. If the other person says hell with you, thank you very much. At least you have said hell with you, so it opens the path for me to the peace and happiness. You are constricting it. Don't get attached. Don't get carried away. That is the life of a person who is awakened. How are you, Weber?
Thank you, sir. So how I understood today is like mind has an ability to have thoughts, but the trust is like I have a choice to associate with those thoughts or not. That is, there is no compulsion to it. I can be associated to it, I cannot be associated to those thoughts. And to build that trust that my happiness is before that thoughts, not after that thoughts. So
I remain happiness irrespective of what thoughts are there. So
Yeah.
that is the understanding.
Yes, yes. I remain in peace and happiness, whatever happens in my mind, whatever. This mind, its impulsive nature, has to be present for survival. But now, this impulsive mind and unwanted thought do not take the mainstays of my life. I'm feeling hungry, so I have to eat the food. It is instinctual, you know. It is instinct. You know, I have to save myself when I see the snake. So we limit that mind, you stay there only. Don't poke your nose in all the affairs. In relationship, in personal life, in professional life, then you recognize the inner potential and you experience that higher state of the consciousness. There are many things that comes. You can read the mind of others and you can feel lot of stuff. Who is thinking what? You know, these things are very casual. But you let them come and let them go. You don't worry about them. But if you worry about them, you will be doomed. Close your eyes. Let us start with our journey. Before eyes are closed, the first stage is place, position, and posture. Sangeeta will share the experience later. So the stage one is place, position, and posture. Check it. I will explain it again in a different way. And then being comfortable, you know that it is the change of direction. Your mind starts moving on the skin. Now you have a fade. Fade means experiment. So every time you experiment with these steps, whether what I say is real or not, your mind moves on the skin of the body, and there comes the sensation, comfort, and steadiness, being carefree. Now you just watch, notice, observe the thought, feeling, emotions are coming and going. Behind that, there is an observer. So you see that when you are an observer, your level of awareness goes up. You may have a glimpse of samadhama uparama titiksha. What is lacking is the trust. So we say we have to get rid of so many things present in the mind, the past impression, duality, conflict, and non-belief ideas in the thoughts. So that is why we move to the 6 neighbors in the real self. The outermost neighbor is the world outside. When I say here I am and this is the world outside, it clearly means the world is not me. Then why you crave for any relationship? Why you are attached? Do you see that? Then the second neighbor is the body. Body, I am the body, or body belongs to me. It is my body. So you know it begins with the my body and then it becomes I am the body. That is the problem. Why? It is a lack of trust in the journey of all principles of Eastern wisdom. Third neighbor is the energy body. Energy body thrives on hunger and thirst, impulsive nature. Body, birth, and the death. So as long as you say I am the body, birth and the death, the fear of the death will always be there. You cannot transcend that fear. And the hunger and thirst you cannot transcend unless third neighbor, fourth neighbor. The pain and the pleasure. Fifth neighbor is the intellect and the I-ness, likes and dislikes. And the sixth neighbor is the ignorance, and behind that there is a real self. So now you have to ask yourself whether these five treasures help me to fathom deeply into my core or not. And if it is helps me to try to move into the core, I must follow all the time change behind the change. And that leads us to the second stage. You just check the flow of the breath. Look at the flow of the breath. You start with the flow of the breath, no change. Perception, vipassana continues. So you are clear, the breath is not me, there is a flow of the breath and there is no change. Why? Because we have checked, mind is ready to step into the next step. It is not controlled by the past attachment, duality, and a conflict. And now you look deep inside the forehead in the space and start breathing long, deep in the hissing breath into the chest, in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness, in the state of being carefree. So that deep, long, and the hissing breath is seen, is experienced, is separate from you. So can the breathing be used to step into the higher awareness of observer and observed? Answer is big yes. That is why the pranayama is done. A secondary benefit, you can talk in detail. It helps you to increase the oxygen concentration, release of carbon dioxide, and peripheral and chemoreceptors are stimulated because of the breath change, which helps you, the autonomic nervous system. All these are details. We are interested, but we are not deeply, clearly interested. We are interested in that, can I have a separation? Clear separation. And I experience that this energy body is different from, separate from me. If the energy body is separate, I also experience the mind is also not me. That level of awareness we need. And again, my friends, it starts from, I told you, Samadhama, Paramatidiksha, and Shraddha. You are continue inhaling deep, long, in the hissing breath into your chest while mind is focused. I'm reminding you the droplets of water in the mirror, and that focus is just the mirror. I'm just making you, we are exactly doing what we discussed. You have to relate it by contemplation and reflection. And my friend, just stop it, return to the flow of the breath. I discussed that perhaps long back, 5 or 6 weeks ago, that when you are aware of the flow of the breath, means the presence. With that presence, observer of the breath. With that observer of the breath, you check the flow of the breath, you check the feel, the sensation. But what it has to do with me? Yes, it helps you to develop. I'm using a wrong phrase for right reason. It helps you to develop a discerning intellect, free from the influence of the default mind, causing attachment, duality, and a delusion. Oh, does that flow of the breath does that? Yes. And in that state, you start breathing deep, silent, and slow. This time, not the hissing breath, not the noisy breath. It is deep, silent, slow breath. And now we relate, we engage the mind to reach to a higher awareness. How? You engage the mind as the breath goes in. You move your mind from the top center of the head inside, in the spine, reaching tailbone, singing Om Shanti. And while breathing out, the mind moves from the tailbone upward, singing mentally, engaging the mind, move to a higher consciousness, or simply you can say a higher discerning intellect. Take it easy and you see that. So, what is this? Now you see that what is this higher discerning intellect? It's a mirror, instead, droplets. Sometimes I use these metaphors, or masters uses these metaphors to make the practice clear. Deep, silent, and slow. So you see that discerning intellect is aware that the breath is deep, silent, slow, and the breath, along with it, the mind moves along the spine with Om Shanti. That is what happens. You will find that as if you get absorbed. Now you are fully conscious and you are totally absorbed deeper within. As if nothing outside, whatever is happening outside doesn't change you. You see that this is what happens. In Nyasa, we are dropping Om Shanti on the moving breath and the static spine. We are resolving the conflict of the mind. I could say that is how I feel, the way the masters put it. Now we will drop this deep, silent, and slow breath. We will allow the breath to flow naturally. And on that natural breath, you drop Om Shanti. You see another type of Om Shanti. Om Shanti is common, but we are the first is the Nyasa Om Shanti. Second Om Shanti, where we check the flow of the breath. And we drop on the track of the breath Shanti. You have to reflect on it again and again, and even you can pick up only these 4 stages of the practice during the day. You will see a higher level of awareness. So first we did Om Shanti, long Om Shanti on the Nyasa, and this is the second. We did the Om Shanti on the flow of the breath, and now the static. Purely static. On the 16 segments of the fingers, you start dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of fingers. And the next one you already know is the on the triangle. It is an image, and I'll explain it why we do it. So at present you are dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of the fingers. And you will do, when you do it every day, you will recognize out of the 4, one practice becomes an easy flow. So that is basically a change in your mindset. And if you do it for weeks, months, and years, you will find out, oh, this particular step can be used for it. Why? You had a belief, you had a trust, you have experimented, you have experienced. Do you see that the way the Eastern wisdom works? What a beautiful state you all are in. You need not to worry whether you have not to move the body. It will happen on its own. The mind and the energy withdrawn outside, no, inside. So, there is a natural state of the stillness. And now we will go to the Om Shanti 4th time. I am stressing Om Shanti so that you become aware of all the 4 stages. Move the mind inside your heart, visualize the triangle pointing upward, the equilateral triangle, and start dropping Om Shanti on each side of the triangle while moving the mind clockwise and anti-clockwise. Continue to do it. One time clockwise, the other time anti-clockwise, and you see the mind enjoys. When the mind enjoys, obviously you are absorbed there. Again, I would say, are you clearing the droplets? Just relate it to it. And you will find, yes. These droplets of past impressions of attachment and duality and delusion and pain and pleasure and etc. etc. you will find they are coming and they are leaving you. So, which principle I discussed? I talked about fewer thoughts is not the guarantee of your awakening. And now, move the mind deep inside the cave of your heart. Mind seems to stop singing Om, as if Om is taking you very deep into the heart, cave of the heart. Mind seems to stop. You simply say Shanti. You have already transitioned into the fourth stage, and then do nothing. Again, see, when you do nothing, happening is there. In meditation, we are always maintaining awareness. So, in that state of everything is happening on the awareness. So, maybe a vision, color, images. Yes, let it happen on the awareness. You may experience lot of, sometimes we also experience the jerk. We are not carried away by any of our experiences. Why? We made it clear whatever we experience and know is separate and different from me. So when you do it at your home on your own, I requested you to keep half an hour window open. So if you are absorbed and you are consciously, mind demands, oh, let me continue to sit. Wonderful. And now you start also reciting mentally or loudly, whatever the way you feel comfortable with me. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we also observe the perception of the world outside and the perception inside by the discerning intellect. That is the reason we bring the mind with awareness on the right hand, with awareness on the left hand. We lift our both the palms and place it on our eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Inside the palms there is the total darkness, and you open it and you stay there. Maintain your awareness and see what happens. You can gather all your experiences, you can gather your expression also. In the beginning it is required. Later on, you feel, you know that what's happening, what has happened. Now bring the hands down slowly. We'll share our experiences. Yes, first we'll take Sangeeta. She did not. Yes, Sangeeta.
सर आज मेडिटेशन बहुत अच्छी थी और सर श्रद्धा जो है वो मुझे लगता है कि मेरी लाइफ में सबसे पहले श्रद्धा ही है जिससे आप पे ट्रस्ट किया तो जिस रास्ते पे आपने चलाया उस पे चलते गए गुरुदेव से मिले तो एक श्रद्धा है जो आगे तक लेके जाती है
Yes, yes,
और
yes.
जैसे सर आप जैसे कहते हो कि बिल्ली के बच्चे वाला वो है तो
Yes,
वो
yes.
एग्जाम्पल भी मुझे यहाँ लगता है
Yeah, Sangeeta is reminding me of, she met me more than I think 35 years ago. And in those days I was going to my master regularly, so I also introduced her and her husband also to the master. So she was saying that it is the trust. I had the belief and the trust on you that brought me to this stage. So answer I would say in your case is yes. She trusted from the very beginning. I'm using the word trust. Complete. Whatever I said, she did it. It's a rare. So that brings a tremendous, that also brings certain changes. It is something like trust, one great master gives an example. It is not my example, Sangeeta. Ramakrishna Paramahans gives the great example of a trust. It's the, I think Jerry will correct me, the cubs of kitten babies, kitten babies or cubs of cat are taken from one place to the other by the cat mother. So the kitten have a total trust in the mom. What about the monkeys and their cubs? They hold the monkey babies, hold the mother. They make an effort. Whereas the baby's cat, they need not to make an effort. So that is the trust. In reference to the baby cat. In reference to the mother, what do you mean by belief? What do you mean by blind? Why should I believe you blindly? No, follow the journey. So it's very difficult in the world to have that kind of a trust. So thank you and thank to my master. Yes, David and Jerry.
My experience was right after stage one or phase one or whatever we call it, is the only word I can come up with is lost in space. I heard the journey, but I was just lost until the triangle phase when my body got very cold and I sneezed, and that kind of brought me out of the lost in space. So very deep and dark and pleasant. Thank you.
Yes, yes, it may happen. In the very first stage, you can enter deeper. So these stages, I explained you. We have to follow the structure to go beyond what is unstructured. The same deeper state can take place in the very first stage of meditation. Yes, it is possible. It's wonderful. How are you, Jerry?
Thank you, sir. It was really clear to me that during the listening and learning portion that the Viveka was strong on the droplets, like just the application of all the tools.
Yeah.
On these droplets, any identification. And then it's the moment we started the meditation, all of that dropped away and it was the observer was in the forefront. And that took me through the entire meditation, just the observing of maybe the cold sensation, but no attachment, the breath, just a complete observation. It was really nice.
Beautiful. That observer must come in the front. It is unseen by the senses and the mind. It is still present. It is always present. It is present in attachment. It is present in detachment. It is present in pain. It is present in peace. So when I identify with what is changing, I am lost in delusion and ignorance. That is one of the greatest understanding and experience of meditation. Beautifully, you said that you remained as an observer. Listening and learning, including satsang, this is what is the satsang. I keep on listening to my master for 26 years, but I always questioned him. What is this principle, how this is, where this is, in which text? So I used to buy the text and I used to go through it, and I said, no, here is a problem with me. So he said, okay, I'll talk about this. So that clarity started coming, and there was a natural trust in him. Yes, Dennis.
Peaceful and seamless meditation, full awareness through the steps, deep dark space at the end, very quiet and peaceful, and was definitely ready to stay in that state for a longer time. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes. Staying for a longer time is very important. Very important. You might have heard the stories that guy or Buddha remained absorbed for 3 days under a Bodhi tree in India, and then he got the awakened state. That means that I could recognize what is already present in me in spite of all the. So if I have a time, it's better to stay there. But without getting into any hallucination and imagination. No hallucination, no imagination. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. My experience was sort of almost like going to this otherworldly place and then realizing, no, that's the true reality.
Yes.
And I had this experience of noticing the droplets as the samsaras almost just going down a river.
I'm very happy. Everyone started using these metaphors. Yes, it means there is definitely a sign of the progress, Yes, yes, that is what we need to recognize. There is a reality behind this solid wall, the quantum. So there is always a reality behind this body and the mind. That trust helps us to recognize and realize that real self. Beautifully said. How are you, Stephen?
Good, sir. Thank you. My meditation was calm, quiet, and absorbed. And I realized that when I brought my hands to my eyes in that dark space, I was still in that state. And I'm realizing I'm in that exact state now, even with my eyes open. So thank you.
Beautiful. But look at his perception. He says that he is still into that state, means that perception is still present. It gives you the trust again and again. It is possible. And after that, you do nothing and it is still there. Or you can say that I could stay for a longer period. Or you can say that, it is both, all are the same. We are going to discuss in detail about all these things. When you say it is purely an observer, when you say that you are absorbed in the very first stage, almost all these are identical from a different perspective. And that is why Buddha teaches it appears different to us. Second teacher teaches it appears different to us. There is nothing different. If you strictly follow the principles of Eastern wisdom, everyone is teaching the same thing. They have their own expression. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So mine was calm, and I was just thinking on this faith. It's actually building the faith on my own self, and it was actually realizing that that mind is not responsible for me, but I am responsible for my mind. So it becomes my clarity over there.
Yes, I become responsible for the mind, and that I is the discerning intellect. You apply the discernment, you apply the dispassion, and you leave that crazy mind. Because it is the crazy mind that creates the droplets on the consciousness, which I refer to as a mirror. I'm just using that metaphor. So when you use that, you feel that these natural things. You'll be able to read the mind of others, but you maintain that poise. It's okay. Let it come and let it go. If our path is towards the awakening, but if our path is just to show some mysticism to the people, then better to open a shop of the psychics. The psychic we say in America. But so you can ask Vaibhav and Sangeeta, if you use the word psychic, it means you are mentally disturbed. You are a mad guy. That is the literal meaning of psychic in India. Isn't it, Vaibhav? No, he has become psychic. So you can open the shop. So out of the 10, even the 2 people got the result what you have read. You are a proven psychic. But not always true. Anyhow, let them also enjoy their profession. So that is all for today. Thank
Thank you,
you
sir.
very much.
Yeah.